You know, bye weeks always kind of funny anyhow. Regardless of when it comes, you got to kind of balance. You know, putting the pads on and hitting a little bit more than you do in a regular game week. But you still got to sprinkle in there getting ready for an opponent. You know, you want to take advantage of the fact that you got a little extra time. So, but you want to do too much because your guys get stale. You know, it's kind of like the opener. You know, you go all camp working fundamentals, installing your offense and defense. You don't spend, you know, we didn't spend all of camp getting ready for Indiana. You know, we spent just a couple extra days in a regular, you know, work week to get ready for Indiana. So you got to kind of take that same approach. You want to get back to some preseason camp type of stuff where you're working on fundamentals, you're being a little more physical because the game's further away, but you also got to sprinkle in some opponent, and that's what we did. You know, we tried to do some conditioning stuff to keep up, you know, where we were, because I thought we were pretty good shape at the Indiana game, and then just get better on fundamentals. Yeah, it's, you know, you don't like to, you know, I'm sure Tech's same way. You know, Tech doesn't want to play an OVC opponent. You know, in week 2, they'd rather have, you know, 2-3 games and then get in the conference schedule, because the conference schedule is what really matters. That's what, you know, every team in the OVC is doing, is trying to win an OVC championship. And they'd rather have a few more, you know, warm-up games or games that aren't going to determine the OVC, you know, title winner prior to getting into, you know, OVC play. But you know, the bottom line is, it doesn't matter if Tech's opponent number 2 or opponent number 7, you're going to prepare the same. You know, they're preparing to beat us, and we're preparing to beat them, and it doesn't matter if it's, you know, week 4 and it's the first game of the OVC schedule, or it's week 2. You're going to prepare the same way, and that's what it's all about, is how well do your kids prepare, you know, during the week, and then how well do they execute the game plan on game day, and then, you know, during game day, how well do they you know, execute the adjustments you're making, you know, as the game goes. I think we expect a lot more of the same. I felt going into that game last year that they were one of the you know, youngest, most talented guys, most talented teams in the conference, especially with all the skilled guys they have. I mean, they're just loaded as far as their running backs, wide receivers. You know, all the guys that can run around and make plays, they just got a ton of them. And now all those guys are a year older. I think that's probably what happened to them a little bit, you know, last year, was they started out real fast, you know, had some big wins, played really well, you know, had SEMO on TV and looked, you know, unbelievable against them, and, you know, really had some early season success, kind of fizzled down the stretch, and I think that's because they had a bunch of, you know, true freshmen playing well. You know, the deal now is those guys are a year older and running even faster. So we'll our guys, coaching staff, myself, players are really going to have to prepare to be in for a battle on Saturday, because that's what it's going to be. It's a little funny because we had an open date, plus we played Thursday, so it really gave you, you know, extra time. And we Friday we gave the guys off. We treated that pretty much like a Sunday from a coaching staff standpoint, as far as the to-do list of things. And then Saturday we treated like a Monday, you know, as far as what we needed to get done, as far as grading the game film and all that type of stuff. But as far as the players were concerned, we put them in pads. We had an extra pad practice on Saturday. And then we gave our guys Sunday off. We always give our guys Sunday off, give them an opportunity to go to church, and give them an opportunity to call home with their parents or guardians, and talk with them, and just, you know, some downtime. And then we came back Monday. You know, was even another little weird twist, was that was Labor Day, so there was no school. But we wanted to get our guys back, make sure they were back for Tuesday classes, so we brought them in Sunday night and lifted them. And then we had a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice, and then we had Friday morning meetings and running, and then gave them the weekend off.